Okay, over to decorators. Let's start with a very simple decorator. We'll comment out everything else. A very simple decorator. Let me define a function which is going to be our decorator. So this decorator, what did I say? What is a decorator used for? It is used for decorating a function. It is used for decorating a function or a class. We are going to come to our decorator, which is going to take a particular function, right? So our decorator is going to take a function, and what is it going to do? It is, let's say we are going to define, okay, a function wrapper. Okay, let me call, so we have a function, we have a decorator out here, and in this decorator we are calling another function. That function is called as a function wrapper. You can name it anything you want, but this function wrapper takes in x. It takes in x, and then you print over here, before calling whatever is the function. So I'm going to call this func. I'm going to call the function func inside the function wrapper. So I'm going to say before calling whatever is the function that you are sending, I need to send the name, right? So I'm going to say before calling func dot underscore underscore name underscore underscore. Before calling this particular func dot underscore underscore name underscore underscore, what must? So this is before calling. I'm just printing that, and then I call the function with the parameter x. I call the function with the parameter x, and then I print after calling. So that means I need to define, whatever is my function which I'm going to call or which I'm going to pass as parameter. I need to send it, right? I need to define that. How will I do that? After calling, let me say after calling function dot underscore underscore name underscore underscore. Okay, this function wrapper, okay, so this function wrapper, the task is done, that's it, and then I just return the function wrapper. Now let me define a simple function. Let me call it as foo of x. We are going to understand this. Remember, we are going to understand each of these things in detail when we do an application. For now, let's understand it, the intricate details of how a decorator is formed. Let's say this foo is a very simple function which just does this much. Hi, I am foo with x value as, comma x. That's it. Okay, so now let's go to the main function. So if my underscore underscore name underscore underscore is equal to underscore underscore main underscore underscore, this is my main function. In my main function, what do I need to do? Or in my main, what do I need to do? I need to say print, hey, I am going to call foo. Right? And then I call foo. Okay, how do I call foo? I'll call foo by just sending foo, and then I'm going to say hi. I'm going to pass in x, let's say hi. That's it. Or even if you want, I can pass any value, 2, 3, 4, anything like that. Now print, hey, I am going to decorate foo. I'm going to decorate foo. Now, how do I decorate foo? I'm going to decorate foo by passing foo into our decorator. So I'm going to call our decorator, and in our decorator I'm going to pass this guy called as foo. So I'm going to decorate this function. Okay, I'm going to decorate the function foo. So our decorator, in our decorator, foo is passed. Now what happens? The minute you call this, your function wrapper is returned. Your function wrapper is also just taking the value x. Now your function wrapper, it's now a new function, right? So it's a function wrapper. This is being returned when you call our decorator. Now whatever is returned by function, by our decorator, that is function wrapper is being returned, that I will store it back into foo. I will store it back into foo. Now I'm going to print, hey, I am now going to call the decorated function foo. Let's see what happens. Now I'm going to call, directly I'm going to call foo. When I call foo, now I'm passing hi again, same as earlier. And let's see what happens. It says, hey, I'm going to call foo. Okay, that's what we wanted. And then it called foo of hi. So the minute we called foo with hi, it said, hi, I am foo with x value as hi. Good. Then I printed, hey, I'm going to decorate function foo. So it said, hey, I'm going to decorate function foo, and it then passed foo to our decorator. What happened? Foo was passed here. It defined a function wrapper of x. Okay. And inside the function wrapper, what was done? Inside the function wrapper, what is done? Whatever was passed x, that x was given to this particular function that was passed. What is the function that was passed? Foo was passed. Foo was called inside the function wrapper. Foo was called inside the function wrapper. But before calling foo, this function wrapper decorated this function by printing one statement above and one statement below. Are you able to understand? And then it said printed, hey, I'm going to call the decorated function foo. So it called foo of hi. Now when you called foo, because now foo is having, when you call a decorator and you passed it to foo, foo is now having this object, function wrapper object, right? So it is going to be function wrapper. So when you call foo now, function wrapper is going to be called. For when function wrapper is called, what did you pass? Hi. You passed hi. And then you printed before calling function.name. So that's, can you see, before calling foo, whatever was the function.name, what was the function? Actual function was foo. And then it says hi, and then it call that function. That function is here. Print hi, I am foo with x value as hi. And then it says after calling foo. So when you called foo here, it just called the simple foo, hi, I am foo with x value as hi. This is it. But now when you call the decorated foo, it didn't just call this foo, but it also did before calling foo and after calling foo. There was decoration before and after this particular foo. Hope this is very clear. This is a very simple decorator. Okay. Now, we haven't used decorators yet. This is the concept of a decorator. Now, let's actually decorate this. You don't need to actually do this, right? All you need to do is, you don't even need to call this. See, here we decorated our function and stuff like that, right? Now, we can rewrite what we will rewrite. Okay. Let's say this time, if I remove everything, okay, I'm just going to remove this. Let me remove this, or wait 1 second. I'll just comment that out. Let me comment this, and let me comment each of these. So I commented each of these. I am calling foo of hi in my main program. What is it going to be? What is foo going to be? Hi, I am foo with x value as hi. It's going to call foo of hi. But now if I write just before this foo function, just before it, above it, if I write at, and I'm going to say, just after that, I'm going to say at our decorator, which means I am decorating this function foo with our decorator. Basically, it is doing the same thing as calling this, but we don't have to write any of these things. Now let's see what happens. When I run this code, the same foo function was called, but it was called with a decoration before calling foo and after calling foo. The minute I write our decorator, at our underscore decorator here. This is how decorators are called. This is how decorators are created. This is a very simple decorator, and we will understand a little more in detail when we do the next example.